All right, good afternoon, everyone. So today we are going to continue our discussion on week 5 problems. Actually, if I remember correctly, we had solved till 5.5. That question we had solved. And so therefore we'll continue from there and also try to solve some of the week 6 questions to the extent possible. And then we'll continue in the next one. Okay. Before we move ahead, is there any question that any one of you would like to ask? If there are, then please raise your hand and ask your question. Okay, I'm assuming that there are no questions, so we'll move forward. So if you see OPTSE 2001, um, I think we had done it till 5.5, so we have to uh, check it once. 5.5, right? Yeah. Okay, so I have to give the course ID, right? So go to show. Yeah, this one was regarding the authentication log, wherein we had to figure out the number of unique users who've been able to log in into the system, right? That's what it is. So this one we had done already. Yeah, a script to print the users, one on each line, who are logged in successfully, meaning essentially we were trying to, uh, you know, find the string session opened per user, so on and so forth. Whatever user is able to log in, this message will come. And once we have the format, then we were using cut to figure out the username and print it. So it might be possible that multiple times the same user is logging in. So when you do grep and use cut, there'll be multiple usernames who are which are same, right? So therefore you have to remove the duplicates, and then for that we use the sort and unique commands, right? So once we do that, we'll be able to get the desired output. So this one we have already done. What I'll do is I'll just do eval here, assuming that the solution is already there. So then it should pass. Yes, it is passing. Then we'll move to the next one. So this one is going to be PPA 5.6, right? Yeah. Okay. And then yes, this appears to be the log as well. But the thing that we have to extract is different. This time we have to extract the timestamp of the previous login time rather. So uh, it is either going to be the current login or the one before that. So what happens, when you log in, so assume that I'm logging in. So the time when I logged in just now, the current login which I'm using, right, that will also be logged, right? So that becomes the latest login. So therefore it is saying previous login time. So when I log in, it will be the current time. So assume that I'm logging in at the current time, and then I look at the log immediately after that. So my last login record will be that of the current time, because that is the current session I'm in, right? So therefore it says the previous one. So we'll have to figure out the last, the second last login rather. So that will become the last login time, before the current session. So that is what it is meant by previous login time. So we'll have to figure out that way. And for this particular user guest, the format is as given: month, date, and hour, minutes, and seconds. That is, and the log is still the same, I think. We'll get it from the public test cases. And the desired output is something like this, right? Yeah. So even from this log itself, we can figure out, right? So January 21st, right, and so on the time. So if you go back and check for guest, um, yeah. So this one, you see, um, is again for guest, right?
Actually, here I have a suggestion.
Hmm.
If this at least is the search, what we need to search, because this is a huge file, right? Or at least,
Hmm.
okay, it's a small file, but it's not that easy for anybody to read. So at least the search condition, if it is given, it will be more helpful, because I tried both the sums. I was able to figure out, but I
Hmm.
struggle to see what I need to search.
Mm-hmm. Immediately, it is
There
not
is a
apparent
note,
that.
a note
Hmm.
stating that this is the one we need to search for, because
Right, right.
we don't need, not now. Now it's okay, but only for
Mm,
the examination point of view. If it is there, a note
mm,
stating that the filtering is the grep, whatever it is, to be done on
mm-hmm.
this.
Makes sense. Yeah, yeah. Then you will not have to figure out
Yeah,
the
yeah,
the
because
pattern. Hmm.
unnecessarily what we need to filter for is very difficult
Mm.
to read. This one is very difficult. This file is very difficult to read.
Read and understand. Yeah, yeah. I totally agree with that. The thing is, Uh, yeah, I get your point regarding the exam, right? So sometimes it might take time to figure out which is the pattern, and you have to do some sort of trial and error to get to that. And that is one thing. But in real world cases, right? For example, when you're actually doing it, right? So these kinds of practices are there so that you get familiarized with yourself with the context surrounding a question, also, right? So this authentication log file is the actual authentication log file. So it is not as if it's a made up thing; it's an actual thing. So what happens is that if you figure out the format and so on and so forth, I understand in the first go it is very difficult to read out and make sense of it. But the reason these kinds of practices are there again is to just make yourself, make all of you familiar with the things that are there and the things that you're going to look, generally the kind of things you're going to come across while working with Linux. So if you are familiar with these things, it is good to do that in the real world situation also. So for example,
Real
hmm,
world, normally we know what need to be filtered. Yeah,
right, right.
because we are working
Uh,
on it. So
hmm,
we normally know, okay, this is the
hmm.
filter I need to use.
Yeah, right, right. So exactly. So the thing is that assume that this kind of a log file is given and that information is not given to you, right? So that is also one part of it to figure out which pattern I have to use. I understand like it might be time consuming, so therefore it is not very ideal to be there in a timed situation. For example, in an exam,
No,
that
only
I
for
understand.
exam I'm asking. Not now. It's okay. It's
Yeah,
okay.
but
All
for
the
practice, it is good to go through these things. Yeah, okay, it's fine. I get your point. So maybe I'll convey this to the team and then say if they can do something about this. And I'm not exactly sure if this sort of question will be there. It might be there though. Okay, it's good to familiarize with yourself with this. But then your point is taken, so I'll convey the same to the team as well. Okay. So with this, we'll move forward. So that was the idea, right? So we'll figure out the timestamp. So I think this is in continuation of, not exactly in continuation of, but since the log file is more or less the same, I think we can just continue from wherever from the earlier solution, that is we were using on the same file, right? So okay. So before getting to that, maybe I'll just give some time for all of you to try and attempt this one. So try to see if you can make connection to the previous question that we were discussing. Okay. So we'll have 5 minutes for this one. Okay, I see Karthikeyan has shared a solution on the chat, so this seems correct. Um, but the thing is, you're taking tail -1, which ideally would give you the last record, meaning the current login also will be included. And is it is it passing the test cases, Karthikeyan, or I'm asking because they
Yeah, yeah,
mentioned
it is
previous.
passing. It's passing.
Ah, okay, okay, okay. Then by
I
three.
need one more. Maybe if you can
Hmm.
find some time to explain how to
Hmm.
search in the VI editor. There
Okay.
is a search method for specific,
Hmm.
just to go through the document, right? This kind of big
Okay,
document.
okay, okay.
If you can find some time to explain that portion of how to search the VI editor with a
Okay.
specific word or
Hmm.
pattern of word.
Makes sense. Yeah, yeah. That we can do. That will do. I think we'll have some time to discuss that. Not now, but maybe towards the end. I'll try to open up one of these log files are very good candidates for such cases, right? So maybe I'll open it in the VI editor and try to search some patterns onto this file itself, or maybe some other file. It's fine. So that will do. Yeah. Okay. So this one. So tail minus one. The only thing that I was thinking about is that since it is talking about previous login time, I assume that it is talking about mm, you know, uh, the one before the current session. So that is what. But if it is taking the last one, I think then it must be the current one itself. So that's okay. Then. The only difference is that other than doing tail minus one, so minus one basically gives you the last such record, right? If you want to get the one before that, and then you have to take the basically you know the second last. So that is easy to do. I mean, just modify the command and get that. So maybe I'll demonstrate both cases. Okay. So sometimes it might be that you want a specific login, right? So the first, second, third, and fourth. If there's multiple logins, then you want to get the, let's say, the second one. You know, when the user logged in for the second time or the third time, something like that. So that also is a good exercise to try out. In this case, I think we are just taking the last one. So tail minus one, therefore works perfectly here. Okay, then. So in fact, let us move forward and think about it. So Karthikeyan's solution, I just break it down and try to do it stepwise so as to understand what is going on interactively, and then we'll have it in the script, then we'll run it and evaluate it. So before going ahead, it's clear. Okay, so the first thing is you have to get hold of the log file that I will copy from the this one 5.6 input, right? Okay, and the name here is my log. So basically, I'm just copying the input here. So we get this. Okay, so we have everything like this. So that is one part of it. It gives us everything. Now try to do grep on this and see what pattern comes up. Okay. So grep for what? New session. Okay. You're doing it for new session. That's fine. Uh, okay. And there could be anything in between. That is for new session opened for and so on and so forth. That string is there. So we are saying anything could be there. And we are looking specifically for the user guest because it was mentioned in the question, right? And then you're saying after that also there could be something. That's fine. And so up until this point we'll see what comes. Okay, so basically we get this, right? So new session and then the session number of user. So the 25 of user, this aspect basically is captured in the dot star part, and then of user guess. At the end actually you have a dot also, therefore you're escaping it, so it captures the dot as well. If you don't give it then okay, if you don't give it, then if you have guest 2 for example, then you don't have to pick that up, right? So we have to explicitly say that after the username it should end, and a good way to avoid picking up on other users is to just have the dot, as Karthikeyan put it rightly. And then so we get two login records. I think this one is corresponding to the current login. I mean, this is a historical record per se, right? So the scenario I mentioned about the current logging being recorded and the previous login time and so on, that is with the current auth log file, right? So if you were to see the, like for example, I have the system, I am just logged in here, right? So if I see it for the current log file that is there, then it will also include my current session, right? So that will not be the previous time of my login, rather the current login. But since this is the historical record, because the input log file is already given to us, it is assumed that by previous login time, they mean the latest, right? So we'll take it like that. So therefore, once you have up until this point, you get this thing, you know, you get this, and then we are doing tail minus one to just get the last one. Because tail, all of you know by now, I think that it gives you from the bottom. So we say from the bottom one line, right? So it gives you this line, which is corresponding to, you know, uh, 32 minutes past 8 on Jan 21, that is. Okay. And then, okay, so that is one part. And then you have to figure out only the timestamp. So what we can do is that we can cut. The delimiter is space, of course, like this. And then you So the first field, I think you'll get Jan only. Yeah. And then you have to get the second, so you'll get the date. Third one, you'll get the time. So therefore 1, 2, 3. Okay. So month, date, and the time. And I'll just quickly go back to this one. So it said you have to have month, date, and time, right? That's what it is. And it's basically corresponding to whatever the format is already there. So you just cut it and get that. Yeah, so this works. So we'll put this in the script and try to run this. What is the name of the script file that we need to create? My log is the input, that's fine. Uh, login time .sh, this one. Okay. So we'll create the same. So login time .sh, the same thing. Specify the interpreter, give the command. So this is what it is. We are going through the entire file, grabbing on new session for guest, getting the last such record, and basically cutting down just to get the timestamp, which is in the beginning of the line. Fine. Then we are going to save it and do chmod u plus x login time.sh and then synchro eval. Yeah, this works. All right. So is this one clear? Any questions so far? Otherwise, move forward to 5.7. Okay. Fine. Let's go to the next one then. 5.7. Oops, I think I've created a wrong directory, I think. So what I'll do is, yeah, this one's created, right? So what I'm doing is I'm moving this. So it's just to rename it, basically. It is already created, right? So 5.7. Yeah. So that one got moved to that one. And we will open it. Okay. Now, okay, we are still dealing with the authentication log file. So there is this nuance that is coming in now. So when you do, so there are two things, right? One is that when you log in, the session opens, right? When you log in as, so assume that I am the guest. So I log in as my user, guest. I have the password, so I log in, and then the first time I log in, my session will be open, so that will be recorded, right? The other case is when I'm logged in as someone else. So assume I'm the admin or some user is having access, right? The sudo access is there, right? So I can switch my or switch the user and so on. Or maybe I'm logged in as someone else and I want to switch to other users. So in that way, when that happens, so let's say I'm logged in as a student in this case, and I'm doing SU to move to other uh, some other username, right? Okay, so in this case, the switch is made to student, right? Hmm. Or rather this the other way around. Actually, I'm logged in as a student and I want to switch to someone else. So assume that I am logged in as student username and I'm using the su command to switch to guest, right? So in that case, the idea is same, but then the string, the new session open, the string will change for that case. So we'll have to just grep on that. Okay, so you see what happens is that, for example, new session 31 of user guest. Okay, session opened for user guest by login. So so this is like when I'm just directly logging in as guest. So this is not, there's no switching involved as such, right? But when you see the other case, so for example, there'll be one case wherein we are switching. Look for that case. Yeah. So yeah, for example, this one, right? SU is there, right? Even SU is there, so you basically understand what happens, right? But you see what happens is session opened for user guest by a student, which means I was logged in as a student and the student user used the SU command on their terminal to switch to the user guest. This is that scenario. Okay, so this is what we have to figure out. So again, same thing. I think most of it will match. It's just that we have to change the string somewhat, right? And then this idea of the username itself you know will be dynamic. It could be any, because I could switch to any user, right? So for example, the student first switches to the guest user and then the student switches to the guest two user, right? So this part could be anything, right? And to figure out all the user names to which the student switched to. Okay, so this will be guest, for example, guest 2 and so on, right? So see the output also, right? Right. So a student appears to be switching to all such uh, usernames, but then this has duplicates also. Okay, so you're not having a unique there. We go back to the problem statement. Print all the usernames to which user student switch to using the ST command. That's okay. Switching back to the previous user should not be accounted. Okay. Basically, you have to grep. Okay, hint is also given, right? Basically, you have to grep all the lines where SU command is run successfully and fetch the username to which the user student switch to. Yeah, so SU part is there, right? Because we're only interested in the switching case, right? So this one, session opened for so and so user by the student. That is the idea. One hint there could be that we could match on the SU part also. Yeah, so let's try that. So yeah, okay. We'll wait for some time for others to attempt it and then move forward with the discussion. Maybe you can use the earlier regular expression, make modifications to that, and use that. And this time you need not do unique, so you get all instances. I'll just scroll back to the problem statement. Okay, shall we discuss this one, or do you wish to get some more time on this? Okay. Okay. Then we'll have some more time on this. So maybe we'll discuss that. 2:30. 3 more minutes. See, Karthikeyan has put a solution there, which is quite close. I think this will work as well.
No, I did not take the line. Second line? I took the first line. There
Mm-hmm.
are two lines. The first
Okay.
line, I took the first line. That's also having the guest number or a guest.
Hmm. Okay.
Because the pattern is the first line and the second line always it is to the student.
Yeah. The user that is going to be switching, like the user we are interested in, the student only. So maybe that part you can put in, and you know, and then we'll extract out only the username from there. So I also have one pattern. I'll maybe describe it after some time. I hope others are trying this out and attempting it. Can I have a, show of hands, please? Okay. All right.
Also, after this BPT question number 4,
Okay.
I
Okay. You
want
want me to
that to be
go
explained
through that?
because one
Ha,
test case is missing and I tried so many things to
hmm.
account for it, but still I'm not able to figure out how.
Basically, there was a space missing for the last test case. I'm not sure whether you have seen or not.
I tried and then fed up and then just left. Okay, one test case missing, but it's okay. Just left it.
Okay. Okay.
I
It
want
might
to
be that the
discuss
test case
that.
itself has.
If you find
D-
full, please discuss that also.
ha, ha, ha. Okay. Okay. I'll do that. Did you all ask in the TA session for that one in particular?
Sir, I was able to do it. I mean, I got all four test cases passed.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Sir, I
Then it
also.
must be. Then it must be okay. We'll see. We'll see and figure out where the changes are required. Okay. So it's 2:30 already. I'll just go through this one. So what I have done is I have one more pattern I'll show. So for this one, what I'm doing is I have already copied, by the way, this log file from there. So that is done. Okay. So that is there. So the pattern that I'm going to use is this one. So I'm doing cat and then I'm grabbing for this. So it says it is going to, because we are only interested in the switching case, right? So therefore it is always going to start from, because the initiation of the switch from this user to that user is handled by the SU utility or SU program. So therefore you'll always have this prefix SU in the beginning, right? And after that, so if you see, yeah, I mean, you can see that, right? So after this, there's something like that, right? This starts here actually, SU, and then after that, there's certain things that will be there, right? So therefore I have said dot star, so it could be anything. And then I've looked specifically for session opened for, and then it could be any user, right? It could be guest two, and so on and so forth. Any user, it could be by a student, because it said explicitly that you have to only filter out the switches which are made by the user student, user by the username student. So therefore I said by student. Then basically captures the usernames which are switched to using the SU command by the user student. So that is the idea. Basically captures that, and then from there onwards we'll continue. So now, since we know, the one thing that we can possibly do is to mm, is to use O. To use O, then grep minus O. So it will just give us that. That is one way to do that. And then And then maybe I can cut using the delimiter colon, right? So the first, um, yeah, and then get the first field, for example. So the first one is this, right? And the second one is, okay. So you have three such cases here also, yeah. And the third one is this one. What about the fourth one? Yeah. So fourth one, you have this, right? Now, and clear it. So I'm taking the fourth one, so it basically takes us here. Now, um, now I can grep again for, or else I could just cut, right? That's also possible. Cut using the delimiter space now this time. One cut is for the colon so that I get this particular sequence or strings. And then I'm going to cut using the delimiter space. So again, so the first one is, I think some blank spaces are there in the beginning, so it'll take it like that, but that's okay. Second is session, third is open, and so on. So open for then user will be fourth and fifth. So this is sixth, right? So the sixth field. Yeah. So this is the entire command. That's how you get it. So you do the cat. I'm selecting only this kind of a string where it says particular session is opened for a specific user by the user student. Then cutting on the column so as to get, get rid of whatever is not required. And then doing the cut using the space to basically, get only the username. That is what it asked for. I think this matches with whatever the sample output was. Rather than checking it, maybe we can just evaluate. Okay, I'll copy it. And what is the name of that script again?
su.sh.
Su.sh. Okay, okay. Thanks for that. All right. So su.sh bin bash paste. So I think it is clear to everyone. In case there are questions, please ask. Chmod u plus x su.sh. Oops. So synchro eval passes. Okay. Do you want me to open the script again? And this is okay, right? I think understandable. Hopefully.
While testing, you created a file for this.
Hmm. Yeah, I took it from the public test case actually. So what happens is all these problems are in OPT, right? So for example, if you go to OPT, or rather do slash OPT ls slash OPT slash SE2001, so you get all problems, right? So if you go inside one of these, like even though we don't solve it here, but I'm just saying if you go into one of these, you know, so maybe yeah, let's do ls only. So if you go to let's say PPA 5.7, then the structure is something like this. These things you cannot change. You won't have the permission to, you know, change anything here. The thing is you can read the public test cases. Like you can look into the test cases at least. Public ones. Okay. So for example, I can go to public. Uh, and there's a raised hand. I think I'll come to your question also. And then you go to, so if you go to public, then all the public test cases will be listed here. Like all the directories corresponding to the public test case will be here. So only one test case is there. So I go to test case 0. That's okay. So you have the input and output pair, right? Which basically corresponds to the evaluation checking whether it is matching and so on. So the input is basically the out log file. So that's what I copied basically. I copied it into my, because I cannot change it here, anything. I cannot modify here. And I'm not supposed to do that either. So I basically just for reading it, just to understand, just to try it out interactively on the terminal, I copied the test case, the input file rather, to to my home folder and named it as my out.log, this one. And and then if you do cat, you get this, right? So this, or else the other way to do it is to just do synchro show, and then you get it here, right? So you can basically copy it from here on also. But the problem is that there will be new lines and some text will be wrapped around, so it will be difficult to reconcile it. Therefore I've copied it from there, and that is the only reason. Okay. And if you do, even if you do, so for example, if I remove the out file, even if you do synchro init, I think you'll not be getting it. Will you get it? No. So in this case, even doing synchro init won't give us that, right? So we have to just copy it from the public test cases, just for practice, just for understanding. If you want to do it interactively, because otherwise to do it interactively is difficult. Once you're sure of that command that it is working, then you can write it in the script and then try to evaluate it. Other way is to just write that command in the script itself, evaluate it and let it fail. So it fails, and then whatever the output comes in the in the evaluation itself, figure you from there onwards you can figure out what to change and then change it and run it again. That way you can do it also. That is also okay. So there was a request to discuss BPT
Sir, one question. May I ask, sir?
problem. Please. So in fact, let me just quickly see how many PPAs are there, and then we'll move forward. So 5.7 is the last one. I no. Okay. 5.7. Yeah, for 5 I think is the last, right? 5.7 is the last for week 5. That is. After that, you have practice, but that we can get to later. Yeah. So after doing this, we'll move to BPT, that specific problem that Karthikeyan wanted to discuss, and after that, we'll maybe see if we can move to either practice or some questions we can do from week 6 also. Either way, yeah. Before that, so what is your question? Go ahead, please.
Yeah, in the 5.7, do we really need two cut commands, sir? Or we cannot manage with one, the space one, sir?
With the space one, I mean, see, I mean, it's okay. You can, I'm not sure. Like, you have to see the input and then accordingly see if that's manageable. I mean, there are in some cases, like not in some cases. I think in quite a few cases, it happens that you can do whatever you want to do using multiple possible patterns, right? It is not as if like this pattern that I've shown you is one pattern with which I am filtering, right? But the same output, perhaps you can get it using a different pattern also. That's fine. The idea is that whatever works, right? We have to see that. I mean, it's not, there's no general, it's not a hard and fast rule wherein we can say that whether something will work with only one cut or will it require twice. I mean, that depends on what kind of approach you're using, right? It's just that because I was using this particular pattern and SU was coming in, right? So if you can go back, yeah, this pattern, right? So SU was coming in and I had to cut it that way, right? But then assume for some reason that is cat not there? No, it's not here. I have to go back to. So for some reason,
Is the
yeah.
file is deleted, sir? That's right.
Oh, the file. Okay, I have to copy it again. But anyway, that's the point. So
No problem.
basically,
Thank
hmm, yeah. So
you. Understood, sir.
basically,
Thank
you
you.
it's not there. So you get that right, and then accordingly you figure out which pattern. I mean, like if you can do with just the pattern, that's the ideal case, right? So you grab and you just get on that specific portion that you want. I mean, most of the cases is difficult in such situations, right? But if it works, right? That is like, for example, for smaller outputs. So for example, for when you're doing LS or something like that, right? LS, then doing grep sometimes is alone is enough. You don't need cut and anything like that. But if the output is complex, then you might need cut, and that too. What kind of cut you would require will also depend on the situation and what kind of pattern you use. You see, all these things are interconnected actually. Since I am using this pattern, then I have to use that cut. If for some reason assume that somebody is able to just get onto this part, right? And the reason I'm not doing it is because other than SU also you have session open, right? Which is not because of SU, rather because of login. So that I need not take it, right? So therefore I'm explicitly adding SU here just to filter out on that case. So that depends. But assume that for some reason I'm only having this already there, then I need not cut using the column. I can just do away with this space and so on. So that's still possible. Okay. Okay,
Thank
I
you.
think five. Yeah, thanks so much. 5.7 is the last one for 5, right? So okay, before moving to practice, we'll just quickly go to BPT. Which question is that, Karthikeyan? I want to discuss BPT 4, rather BPT
Yeah,
2 problem
for the
4.
last test case, there are three test cases. The last test case, which is having a index for the, because normally the CSV file do not have the index. The last test case, the input file is having.
This one is it? BPT 2 problem 4, I think you're mentioning.
Yes, yes.
Okay,
Because
is the deadline over for this? I hope it
yeah,
is.
it is over. It's over.
Okay. So then, let me go to. Let me in fact create it. So BPT 2. It's not there. So problem 4. I'll go inside. What is the question? First of all, you're given a CSV file that contains rows with names and ages of individuals. Fine. Writing a command in a script file is script to such row to remove all rows where the age is not a numeric value. Oh, for example, this case, right? Mm-hmm. And what else is there? Says in the current working directory and so on and so forth. Yeah. Okay. Mm-hmm. All right. So we can think about it, right?
Also, I've pasted my solution.
Yeah. Ravi has pasted no something. Yeah. This seems to be okay. Right. Right. But we'll see what are other approaches possible. So we'll get to that. So for example, this is the input, right? So what we have to do is so this is CSV. In that case, we can cut using the comma. That is something that we can do. And then so what I'm saying is,
Have sent
can
my
we get?
solution.
Yeah, everyone can put it, please. We'll see other approaches, like different approaches, and see where the differences are. That's okay. Let me see what I can do on this. So we don't have the input, right? So you just take it from here. Assume that this is the input. In this case, it's okay. We'll take it from here. Okay, I'll paste it here. Remove the line numbers. Okay, there is only one
It's better you take the test case 3.
itself. Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
because the first two test case do not have the index column.
Okay, okay,
The
fine. So
last
then
test case has the index column,
let me do.
wherein I try to work on my PC. In my PC Ubuntu, it is working. It is removing the index column properly. But when I do it I have the code. I will share it. But in the BPT, it is not working. It's
Makes
not
sense.
passing.
So two, you're saying last test case
Test
is it?
case 3.
Test case three. Okay. Okay. Input. I'm going to put it here for now. Clear. So we have this now. Let's see what it is. Okay. So we've got the index as well, right? Okay. So no, but then okay. But then they have not mentioned that in the input you'll have it, right? That is that is not supposed to be there. But anyway, we'll see.
No,
So
yeah, this one it is working in the Ubuntu. I have
mhm.
a code which works in the Ubuntu, but when the same code is not working in the
So this is test case three. This is test case two. Test case two is matching with whatever is given in the statement. Also, three is slightly unique because it says you have this one also. But again, even if you have this, no, you can consider it as part of the name of the user. I know. I mean, it won't be a good way to do that. But then again, if you consider that part of the name of the user, then it is merely two columns, right? So then you can cut based on the comma. So that is like a generalized solution because it will still work, right? So that way you still have two columns. So that's what I'm saying. So for example, test case three, let me try doing this on this. So what I'm saying is I've already copied, I think. Yeah. So what I'm saying is if I cut on the input and then uh, with the comma, right? So I need the fields also. So F1 is this, right? So even the index is there, we're not concerned about that, right? Now we get the second page, we get everything. Now the idea is we have to filter out whatever is not numeric. So then after this we can do grep, right? So grep, uh, you know, yeah. What you can do is you can say uh, this one like this digit, right? Plus is it grep or yeah, you have to, so because this character class is an extended grep, so you use egrep. So if we do egrep and then I say digit one or more times, so obviously it is not going to take 35. But the problem, I mean, this solution is also not complete in the sense that for certain inputs it will fail. Assume that in 35 we also have a 5 here and something like that. So that will be taken because I'm just saying that. So for that, what you can do is you can say that I start with a digit and that digit goes on for some time, one or more times it is there, and then I end. So that says it has to be exactly a digit and nothing else. So then that case of 35 having something in between and that will not be taken because if I just say digit, then it will take it from in between also. This makes it closed. So therefore, it means only digits, nothing else. This is good. Now this solution works, right? Okay, are there any other instructions that are given? Okay, so you have to escape that line itself, right? Okay. Oh, so this one you have to do it in a script. Then in that case, you cannot just. Because if you cut it, then that'll be problematic. Okay, fine. So basically, you have to loop over the input and then get that. The other way is to not cut. If I don't cut, then what happens? Certainly, you'll not have only digits. So that's also a thing. Makes sense. So you're getting this one also. Okay. So then can't you say something like this? I'll say it is having a comma, you know, digit one or more times and then it ends. Yeah, that also works. Right. Because I'm saying the second column basically, and after that it ends. Because it has to end. This is the last column. So after that it ends. Therefore this dollar. Right? Let's try this one. Because this way we are not cutting, so it will get the same thing, right? And we are still skipping this one. So this one works. What is the name of script.sh, right? Okay. And regarding the input, take it from the standard input, right? Read the input from standard input. Not, command line arguments are not there, yeah. And standard output is already given, not output anything standard. These two are implicit actually. This is what will happen anyway. We need not do anything special for that. Right, and this is okay, we're not reading from it. Command line arguments would be read, right? But here we are reading from the standard input, which means and 0, so that's fine. Okay. Script.sh bin bash. We have this, and this goes to 0. Fine. Maybe I can quote this. Okay. Oh, some syntax error in the script. Oh, the
Sir,
space.
what have
Yeah. The like this, right? The space should not be there, I think. Yeah, passes. So it passes all three, right? Is that okay, Karthikeyan? Or-
I'll just share my screen. I just want to check what is the problem with this code.
Fine.
Because this code in Ubuntu, if I copy the input files, it
Mm-hmm.
works. But in the terminal,
In the terminal, it is not
it's
working, is it?
failing. It's two cases pass, but one
Let me put
last
this.
case
No,
is not.
otherwise, I mean, like I can modify it also. Otherwise, then I cannot modify. So I just try it out now on this input itself. So I'm doing it on the test case 3, which I've already copied. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So in this case, you are getting it right. So let us break it down. So you're saying that I'm doing grep name comma. So you're skipping the first row that way. That's okay. And then you're doing what? Grep on the digit. Oh, no. So the problem with this is, I'm not sure about the set part, so I'll come to that later. But then this digit, if you grep, no, what will happen is that since digit is also there in this case, so this will be picked up. You have to avoid this, right? So then, without even doing set, if you consider this, right? So that's what happens. And then after that, I think you're removing all the digit. Is that what you're doing here? Not matching it, and what is the set part for?
No, that is to replace the first index column. I'm just
Oh,
replacing it with null, nothing, deleting basically.
oh, deleting it. Okay, no. So it appears that there are two issues here. One is that when it says we have to go through the CSV file and pick up only those rows wherein we have a numeric value for age, we are not supposed to modify anything. Meaning we just skip this one, we just drop this one. If you remove it, like in this case you're removing it, it will be removed from everything, right? So it'll remove it. If it remove the 7 from the first one, 8 from the next one, 10 from the last one, right? Even if you filter somehow, right, it will remove. So this part you're not supposed to do. So that
So
is one
that
thing.
is the requirement, right?
No, that is not the requirement. What it says is, if you go back to the thing, it says we have to remove all rows themselves, meaning the rows themselves you have to skip where the age is not a numeric value. So assume that I have a numeric here. Assume that this part of the CSV.
This is the problem, right? Because
Hmm.
see, the example is very clear.
Hmm.
The example is very clear,
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
there is an index column that should be separately given. See, when can I share my screen?
Certainly. Go ahead and share that, please. Yeah. Uh, Maybe I can stop for now. Yeah.
Is my screen visible?
Coming up. Yeah, it's not there. Yes. Go ahead, please.
See, if
Can you? Is it possible to uh, increase the font size a little bit if possible? I mean, I'm not able to. Yeah. Okay.
is it okay?
A little bit more, maybe. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Good. Thanks. Mm-hmm.
This is with this, right?
Uh-huh.
So when I do my whatever I pasted, this command what I pasted.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, this is H2. Okay, sorry.
You're removing the first part also, right? Mm-hmm.
So this is H2, right? This one is H2. Okay,
Okay.
Larry and this. So when
Mm-hmm.
I give this file,
Mm-hmm.
I'm removing the index column because see the question clearly this is for this file is the first file.
Mm.
Okay,
Makes sense.
if
Mm-hmm.
I do 1 and 2, 2,
Mm-hmm.
this is my the other file. If I
Okay.
put 2,
Mm-hmm.
this is the input file for that. This is removing everything. Yeah.
Makes sense.
If
Yes.
I 1, this is the one file. I think I concat both everything.
Mm-hmm.
And here also, if I remove, it removes all this
All the,
rows
yeah.
with
Mm.
only numbers are coming. Same way, if I do cat name underscore age dot
Mm.
csv, which is having the index column, if I
Right.
remove, then it removes the index column
Removes.
properly.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
But this is failing. See,
Yeah. Yeah.
we cannot see. It is not asking us to keep the index column, right? Based on the example. So
Mm-hmm.
either the example should be clear, or they should have this kind of this one. There should be a note stating that we should keep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I just say one thing. I understand where the ambiguity is coming from. Maybe I'll convey this to the team and
Because
they
I
can.
I posted a message in the discourse. They said
Mm.
we should be able to make a uh, command, bash
Mm.
command, because my earlier bash command was only this portion, only
Mm.
This
It's very
this is
small.
the
It's
this is
difficult
the
to make sense of. Can you zoom in?
only this portion was my earlier one. I was just gripping
Okay.
the third,
Mm-hmm.
this line. Okay.
Okay.
Then
Okay.
just because this case, since the index column is there for the
Mm.
third test case, I included this set
Okay. So you went on to removing that, assuming that that is supposed to
because
be.
the synchro shows only
Mhm.
to give only two
Makes
columns,
sense.
right?
Makes sense. Can I share my screen now? I understand. I
Yeah.
understand your
So
concern.
this is
Yeah.
what is the
Hello, is it Amit? Hello,
Hey, go ahead, please. Whoever is asking.
hello.
Yeah, yeah. You are audible. Go ahead.
Like I'm asking, is this a TS session or a?
No,
Uh,
this is the stall with instructor session for week 5 and 6.
okay, okay. You are Amit or Ankit. What's your name, right? Uh,
No, no, Afnan.
oh, you're Afnan. Okay. This is like the instructor one.
Right, right. This is not the TA session actually. Saturday, it's the solve with instructor. No,
Okay, okay.
is that okay? Yeah. And any other question you would like to ask?
Which week you doing now?
Yeah, this is week 5 and 6. So we are discussing some questions from week 5. We'll see some questions for week 6 also. Is that okay?
Okay,
All right.
okay, okay.
All,
Fine.
all right. Thanks. Okay. So I
Are
am now
you
presenting.
are you going to do loops and if else and all this writing scripts about that? Because last session which I attended, ma'am was teaching. Uh, like how to write loops and if else.
Oh, okay, okay. No, in the solve with the structure session, the mode is slightly different. No, we go through the problem. Basically, this is for problem solving. So we just try to whatever problems have been configured. We try to solve that. Maybe PPT or whatever the deadline has already passed and so on. So we solve that, right? This is not to basically discuss all the concepts as such. Okay.
Okay,
So
okay.
we focus only on the solving part. Maybe you
Okay,
can join in the other ones, right? For detailed discussion. TA sessions happen. You know I think 2 or 3 TA sessions are happening right every week, so we
okay,
can
okay. You go
do
ahead,
this.
Afnan.
Yeah, okay.
Thank you.
Thanks. Bye. All right. So then I have again this one. Right. So the thing is, if you see synchro show, the ambiguity is coming because it is saying that this kind of input is there and the output is this, right? So you don't have the index column and everything like that. So the thing
so
that it was trying. Hmm,
I'm thinking that all the output should be having two columns, only the
hmm,
name and
hmm.
the this one.
This thing, yeah, yeah, I understand. So the thing is, uh, we have to pay attention. I mean, I understand sample input is also trying to convey that what happens is sometimes they give you edge cases, specifically some inputs which are problematic, so as to make sure that whatever solution you have written is precise, takes care of such cases, right? And this is one of those examples, even though they have not mentioned that such case will be there, because they understand that you're going to grab based on the digit, right? So if you do that, then they have intentionally put in the digit in the first column also, so that it prevents you from filtering like that, right? So you have to be careful about that also. So the idea is I have to just pick on the last column. That is the only difference that you are not doing, because of which the issue is coming. So if you just do on the digit, right? So there could be other digits also here and there, no? Even though it is not there in the sample input, but assume that somehow it comes in, right? In the name column itself, then that will prevent you from filtering the right rows. So then what we say is we have to say that it must be in the second column. We're gripping on the second column specifically, and then saying that it should end after that. That is one. The other thing is the problem statement is saying we have to remove all rows where age is not a numeric value. That is all it says. And therefore, we are not concerned about what other inputs or what other characters might be there.
Yeah, that is okay. I understand that.
Huh.
I have pasted a code because the first just
Hmm.
look into that.
Mhm.
I remove the feature
Header.
column
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and the digits. This
Hmm.
should work for all, right? In that case,
No, because yeah, yeah, that is what they are trying to test, right? So if you do just for digit, then the digit could be in the beginning also, in between also, that is still possible. So this is easy to solve. What you do is You say that I'm going to filter on the second column. So what is the pattern? You have to refine your pattern only. The command is correct. What you do is you say that I'm going to match only when the column comma is there, for example. Then that suffices, right? That way, and then you can say one or more times the digit is there. So you match it like that. Okay, it could be grep. Yeah. So this way you can match it, right? Because I know that it is going to be the second column. So one way to say that is to say that
No, this and
this.
all, see, we are just learning this and all. We cannot leave it to the user to.
Mm-hmm,
We can think because for me, I've seen the question. The question clearly says only two columns. One,
mm-hmm.
okay, edge case, three column is given, but still I am able to get my
No,
output
no.
properly
See, the
with
thing is,
adding
this is not a
the
column.
SED. See,
Mm-hmm,
you have
mm-hmm,
added the comma here
mm-hmm.
to get it right. Yeah, but I added the SED to get it right.
Uh-huh.
But
No, it's
the test cases is looking for the index column.
right, right. Index column is required. Not even the index column. See, this is not the column. Column, there are only two columns, right? This is a space. So if you
No,
have a
no, seven,
space,
8, 9 is the index, right? Or
this is the
whatever it is, whatever you call it. There is
this
one
is the
additional column.
no, no. So that's what I'm saying. In CSV, the columns are separated using comma, right? That is one thing. Here you have in between Seven and Larry Silver, right? You have a space. So which means this is part of the name itself. So still you have two columns only. That's what I'm saying. You understand what I'm saying? There's slight nuance there.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay,
This is
okay,
yeah.
okay, okay.
This is part of the name only.
Part of the name only. Okay.
Yeah. It might be that there's some person who is having some name in their, in their given name or something, right? It could be there. Okay. So this is not a
This
column
I
as such.
completely missed. Okay.
Exactly. So therefore,
Because
to pick on
I was thinking from the beginning, this seven is a separate.
no, they
Not
cannot do, right. They have clearly stated name and age is there. How can they add a
mm,
new column then? Right.
okay.
This is part of the name. Okay. So this was that's where the confusion is coming from. And the other thing is, since then I know that I need to only hone in on the second column. One clever way is to just say comma and then say the digit, because of course I know that after the
Yeah,
comma.
yeah, yeah, this is very clear. If it is in the same, I should.
Hmm,
Okay, okay, that's very
yeah,
clear.
yeah, it's the
Because I
same
was
thing.
always thinking that is 7, 8, 9 is a separate column.
No, no, it is not. So otherwise there would be a comma there, no?
Comma, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Which I missed it. I
Huh.
sent one a discourse. I sent a message and someone replied that it can be resolved. So I added this SED and then
Okay, okay,
okay.
makes sense. No, no, no
Thank you,
worries. So
thank
this is
you,
good. I mean, these kinds
thank
of
you, thank
exercises are good to practice, and also the way you were removing it was also nice. So assume that you do a cleaning or something like that. Then using the set thing, you can replace and remove whatever is
you.
not necessary. Okay,
Okay,
very good.
okay.
So then we'll move on. Somebody
So,
has raised
so,
hand. Go ahead, please. Yeah.
in the above command, in grep minus v name comma is also not necessary. No?
Not necessary. Yeah, yeah. This is also not because when you do comma digit, name age is already, because age is not. It is also not
One digit,
numeric
yeah,
anymore.
it's not a digit.
Yeah, so that also will get replaced. So if you this is like the shortest possible version, right?
Sir,
And
I
that
understand.
go ahead, please.
I understand this question, but is it possible to give the question which are all the test cases are not mentioning in the examples? For example, they wants any like condition, but which is not mentioning in the examples. Is it possible?
Hmm. Yeah, I mean this is one such example. No, but what you can do is you can go and check the test cases, right? Even better, if you evaluate, no, it will say that this is the difference that is coming when it fails. So assume that it fails. So for example, if I go to script, this is there. So maybe I don't give it, right, and just do on digit. That's what we were doing, right? Only the digit. Maybe, yeah, only the digit. That is. Then what will happen is it will fail, right? So when it fails, it will also give you a difference, right? So for example, here this is coming, this should not come, right? Because we are not filtering. So you immediately know that, okay, 9 is there in the name. And this is not a column, by the way, because there's no comma here. So 9 is coming because I am filtering on the digits. So immediately you know that I have to refine my pattern. That is one way. The other way is, of course, to go and get those test cases, right? when you can just cat on the test case themselves and see what all is there, try to resolve it and then come back and then evaluate, right? That is, those are the two possibilities, because it can happen, it will happen more often than not that in the example it is only the typical case, but some of the edge cases we will put in there, specifically to make sure your solution is precise, right? Because this happens in general, right? Okay, so then what I did, in fact, maybe if I maybe if I do something like this also will work, hopefully, no? Will it not? Without the comma, I'm just trying to say that in the end, I'm going to match. So what happens if I don't give the comma? Okay, that also works because automatically it takes the last one that way. Because this is not in this is in the beginning, right? But still, I put the comma to make it more specific, actually, to say that it is in the next column and then it ends. Fine. So this is done. We'll come back to week 5, or rather, we'll go to 6. We'll see what all is there.
Can we see this practice question for week 5?
You would want me to do that first? Yeah, I
Yeah,
wanted to do
because
that,
week
but
5 is we can finish
hmm
full, right?
okay, yeah. Sure. So I was also thinking about that. Maybe we can start with that. How many of them are there? 10, 9 such problems. Yeah, 10 of, in fact, 12 of them are there. Okay, fine. To whatever extent we can cover, we'll try to cover that. Fine. So let's start with the first one. I think these questions, when there lots of questions are there, the chances are that the questions are linked together, right? So if that is the case, then slight modifications are required to your previous solution to solve the next question. That's what happens. Okay, generally. So let's start. Uh, okay. I'll go here. I'll create the directory for it. Let me copy practice 5.1. Okay. So yeah, these are very easy questions, right? It's just you do it on the terminal itself and it'll work. Okay, so we'll build upon this. Such as school teachers from 1st to 12th standard. Each standard has 5 sections. Name it as A to E. A, B, C, D, E are 5 sections. Classroom number is represented like this. So you have 12E, 3C, and so on. So basically, you have to get a cross product of this. So you'll have 1A, 1B, 1C, 1D, 1E, and so on up until 5E, rather 12E. 12E is the last one, right? So this is what we'll do is you have to create a directory so that we can do using brace expansion. We'll say uh, standard. So the standard comes first. So the standard is from 1 to 12. That is one part of it. In fact, let me echo it first without creating so that we know what is coming. Okay, 1 to 12. And then for each of these, we'll have A to E. That's all there is to it. You echo it, you get all these directories starting from 1A to 12E. Yeah. So, and then your task is to create a directory for every classroom, and that we can, of course, do. You can just say mkdir. Once we've done that, it is there. Now we do synchro eval passes. Okay, so I'm going a little fast here. Next one. In case there's some question you would like to ask, please ask. And then synchro show. Yeah, it's continuing from the same questions. I assume that that part we have done, right? Of having the directives. Now it says there's a directive for every classroom. I mean, this is as if we have done that only. This we are getting in this problem by doing synchro init alone. Okay. After that, to write a bash command to create a file for each student, right? Name the files 1 to 40. Assume that there are 40 students in each classroom. Not assume it, it's mentioned here. Okay. So we have to go inside each classroom and one file is there for each student. So there will be 40 files, and that also is easy. What we'll do is, because we already have the directory, we'll say touch. Okay, so as to create the empty file there in the classroom. So the standards and then this one,
So
right, like
for
this.
me, this is
Mhm.
the first problem is failing.
Can you paste your command, please, in the in the chat box. I'll take a look.
Cool.
It should not fail. You have to just do MKDIR, right? Is it failing?
It it is only echoing. It is not failure.
Yeah, this is echo, and then you have to basically replace echo with mkdir. That is to make the directories, right? That is.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, this I did just to show what is coming. So for example, in the touch case also I can show, right? So if I do echo, it comes like this. So the idea is I have to go inside each of them. So I'll go inside each of them, and then I start again another brace expansion from 1 to 40. As this will become huge actually. Let us do with 1 to 4 only. Make it 10 later. So this is what it is. So let's say there are 4 students only in each classroom. So you go to 1A, 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is for one classroom, classroom section A, 1A, then 1, 2, 3, 4, right? 3, 4, 4 files for each student. And then you go to 1B and then so on. So this is what happens. Again, same thing, right? So instead of echoing now, I'll do touch because the directory is already there. So we can just touch, and this is for 40 students. I just expand it. Now I can evaluate this passes. Okay. So for example, I can get 10A. For example, I see there are 40 files that are created inside of 10A. All right. So then I'll
Oh,
move to the next one.
touch. This one is we need to do a touch or MKDIR.
Touch. File, no? So I want to create a file, then it is touch. MKDIR is directory. This says files. So if you go to this one, it says write a bash command to create a file for each student. So that certainly has to be touch. Name the files from 1 to 40 in every directory. That is okay. Very good. So I'll just move on. Whoever is doing that can finish it and move on to the next one. Um, then I have practice 5.3 to create it.
Under
What I can
practice 5.2, right? It is telling touch cannot create.
no, you have to do init first. Okay. Once you do init, then only because you don't have the folders otherwise. Okay. Can you try that, please? Practice 5.3. Meanwhile, I'll see this one. You can come back quickly and check that. That's okay. Okay. So whoever is able to do the previous one can move to the next one quickly. Okay. This time you have to remove it. So init, let us do that. And what we are saying is, so there were 40 students. Now what happened is 40% students in the first and sixth standards. This has to be you have to be careful about this one. Only from first to sixth, like the half of the classrooms, right? So there are 12 standards, and the first and sixth rather, not first to sixth. Okay, in the first class and the sixth class, there was a drop, 40% drop. For some reason in the number of students, so they reduced it. The number of students have been reduced to 32. So from 33 to 40, those students 33 to 40 are removed. So that is easy to again do. So once I do a synchro init, I get all the files, all the environment is ready here. Now what I have to do, I'll do rm. In fact, let us do echo again just to see. Okay. So I'm going through first and six, it says, no? So 1, 6. So that I go to the first standard and sixth standard, inside of which there are 5 sections. And since they are saying standard, we have to do it for every section. Okay. So therefore, I'm going inside every section in 1 and 6. So 1A, 1A, 1B, 1C, 1D, and 1E. 6A, 6B, 6C, 6D, and 6E. That is how it is going to be. And then I'm going to go inside and remove from 33, because 32 is already there. 40 up until 40 is there, right? So I'm going to remove from 33 to and this is inclusive. Okay, 33 to 40. That's it. What I'll do. So this goes like this. So I go to 1A, remove all this, and so on. Okay, and since I've used comma here, so it only takes only these two. It's not class the first standard and the sixth standard, right? It is not 2, 3, and 4 and 5. We are not removing from there. Okay, only the first and sixth. So then if I do RM, uh, okay, it
They
says it's
said that
directory.
these are directories.
Okay, I understand. So what did they say though? It has to remove the extra files in the respective directory, it says. And why is that a directory then? Okay, regardless, we will remove it. So
In the
instead of
above
using,
portion, they mentioned that these are converted into directories.
oh, okay, did I miss that part? Um, there's a directory for every student. Oh, okay, 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 makes sense. So that has been removed. No, no, but what happens inside of the directory? So for example, I go to 10A, I have this. So the first student.
We need to
That,
recursively remove something is there or something like that,
Yes.
because some file
so
is there inside.
Uh, perhaps there will be something inside, or there will not be. If there is nothing inside, for all directories it is empty. For some of them, I've seen it is empty. But if it is empty for everything, then you can just do rmdir. Okay, we'll try this one.
Oh,
So
no,
it just
sir.
removes.
But if there is something inside the directory, RMDI doesn't work.
No, no,
Yesterday
it
Oh,
only we
is,
saw
it
that, sir.
is work. I tried
so,
just now. It is working.
working is
And
it?
it's also,
Sir, yesterday there
also,
was a paper. I mean, we were
Mm.
solving a paper in which there was one such option wherein RMDIR was giving an error. I don't remember the paper number. I think it was for 24 or 25th, year 2024 or 25th.
Okay, okay. No, so
There was an
it might be
option.
a makes sense. It might be a different question also, Ravi, no, because that's a paper, so it might be a different situation and so on. So we are not sure of that. What you can do is you can try it out, no? So rmdir I'm doing. Because I see that these are only directories and not files, as you correctly said, that they have converted into directories now. So once we do that, then I can evaluate. Right, it works. So even if we do rm minus r, it's fine because rm minus r, what happens is inside of the directories, everything will be removed and the directory also will be removed. Right. So assume the case that for some of the directories, there are some files which are there, which are no longer needed. So then you can use rm minus r to remove along with the files. Okay. Because what happens is if you do rmdir and there are some files in some of the directories, it's the directory not empty. That is the error that comes up. So therefore you have to do rm space minus r. However, in this case, it appears that at least for these many directories, it is empty. So therefore we do rmdir only. It works. Okay. But rm minus r, just it's a more inclusive option. It'll cover for both cases. Even if the directory is empty, it's fine. Even if it is not empty, it is still going to delete that. Okay, but this is a safer option per se, because if there's some, I mean, I accidentally won't delete anything that is of value. Okay,
But
very good.
basically, the question is asking us to remove the 20% of the students'
Directories, yeah,
directories.
exactly from standard 1 and 6, so therefore comma for all sections. I'm going through 33 up until
I
40
think
inclusive.
on Ravi's question, this is RM. If we use, then we have to put that recursion thing. Is it?
Ha ha ha. Right, right.
RMDIR doesn't see what is there inside or what is. It just
Yeah,
then
no, no. So the thing with RM is, if this is an empty directory, then okay, good question. So let me try
just just
also.
a distinction between RM and RMDIR.
So RM test if we do, yeah. So RM is meant to remove files, okay? So RM cannot remove directories. That is one thing. So, okay. So if you want to remove directories, then you have to certainly do RMDIR. The other case is that if there is something inside, so uh, right, if there's something inside, so if I remove now RMDIR, RM certainly cannot remove directories. That is for sure. Okay. So if you want to remove the directory, then you have to use RMDIR. That is what we do. But if you do RMDIR and there is something inside, then it will say directory not empty. This is the default behavior. Okay.
Yes,
So if
sir.
you want to,
This was the question, sir.
hmm, so if you want to remove along with the file, so there are two options, right? Either you go inside and remove the file first. So you use RM, and RM is for file. So you do RM and then you go inside and remove the file individually, or do asterisk. If you do star, then it will remove for everything. That's also fine. But assume that I do RM and then it basically removes that thing. Then I can use, because again, if I use RM, RM will not work for directories. That is for sure. Okay. So then I can use RMDIR, it will work. So that is one case. The other case is that when I do this, so I do mkdir, assume that there is a test directory, and then I'm doing touch A here. So again, RMDIR, if I do now for test alone, it will not work because it will say directory is not empty. So RMDIR, assume that it is just to remove the empty directories. Maybe there are some flags which will allow you to do that also. But the thing that we do is we remove the dir. I think you have to use RM
No,
necessarily.
RMDIR hyphen R, I think.
No, not dir then in that case. If you want to remove directories along with the files, then you have to go back to RM and add the R.
No, they
Okay.
said recursively it will remove. If there is something, they said
Yeah.
RMDIR hyphen R, then you give the directory name, it will remove the file inside as well as the.
No, no. RMDIR does not have the R option, you see.
Okay. But
RM
yesterday
has.
there was a question as he was telling, no? They said recursively remove, something like that. We.
Yeah, recursively remove is this only. That's what I said. So it's three cases, right?
Oh,
One case is
recursively remove means manually.
no RM minus R on the directory. Then it will remove the the content inside also.
RM
So
minus R on the directory. But RM is only for the file, right?
RM is for the file except when you're using R.
Ah, okay.
When
Okay.
we use R minus R, it
Then
doesn't
it,
show.
it is becomes for both, basically.
Okay,
It's
remove
not
the files
checking
as
its
well as
directory name.
the.
Directories, yeah. So three cases. If you have a directory with files and you want to remove everything, then RM minus R. If you want to remove just the file, then RM,
Too
whatever
much of
file is.
too much of information to remember, which is I don't know.
Okay, okay. No, no, you'll get used to it. As we move forward. It's fine. Don't worry about that. Even we forget about certain things, certain cases,
So the
and
problem is that you will remember now. Okay, once that you lose touch, everything will everything will go.
but that can be said for
You're
every
not
other.
using for just a few months. It will go. All these things will vaporize.
Right, right. It
Uh,
happens. No, the only thing is practice. So you keep practicing, and you remember, and that's why you have to use it also. Like for example, we keep using Linux, right? I mean, we use it every now and then. So I mean, we are familiar. Even we have to be in touch. Otherwise, we'll also become out of touch. Okay, so RM is when there's a file, so it cannot remove directories. That is one thing. RM minus R is files and directories. Okay, and RMDIR is only for empty directories. So wherever it is not empty, it will complain that it is not empty. So you have to first go inside and remove the files there. So for example, I remove the file. Now it becomes empty, and then I can do RMDIR. So RMDIR is only for empty directories. Done. Okay, synchro eval is working. So I'll quickly go. We'll have you know a little more than half an hour. So uh, try to see what all we can cover. Okay, maybe I can create all the directories. No, otherwise, okay, the same thing, right? Practice, and we know the sequence. So 5.3 is there already. Right. So I'm going to do what? 4 to 10. Is that okay? Right. So I have 5.4 now. Yes. Okay. So
Sir, uh, there's a request, sir.
please.
Sir, what I'm saying is, sir, we can do these problems later. I mean, on our own, because I think these seems to be a bit on easier side.
Easiest
So,
idea.
yes, sir, my problem is with using the V editor. I mean, I can hardly use it properly, and I could see that there were questions in the exam based on editor usage as well. So,
Okay.
can you just in this last hour, half an hour, you can help us with that?
Yeah, yeah. Okay. So some basics of VI, I'll try to explain it. Maybe the thing is, I also use nano most of the time. So the thing with VI is that no, some in the exam questions, I think they were asking about the some question. What was that? Shortcuts, right? Shortcuts were there, like which shortcut you use to do what and so on. So this is more like remembering the stuff. And as regards the usage, yeah, certain things regarding VI. So I'll just mention the basics. So okay.
So there was a question wherein we had to delete something. We had to find, search, and delete something. So there was a command for that in VI in the
Mm.
in some paper. It was discussed yesterday itself.
Oh, okay, okay. So, all right, I see the paper. I'm not sure which paper it was. So, can you do one thing? Who's asking? Sorry, I didn't get the name. Can you do one thing? Can you ask it in one of the TA sessions? I think that'll be more appropriate. Is that okay?
Okay, sir.
Because
Sure,
otherwise,
sir. Sure, sir.
uh
Sure.
I can also help you out. It's okay. It's not a problem as such. But then maybe or otherwise you can put it on Discord. Maybe we'll have a separate session and then we'll discuss that. Otherwise, because we have to cover the problems also, no? Otherwise, it'll remain and
No
then
issues. No issues, sir.
yeah,
Thank you,
we
sir.
cannot move forward. Yeah, a few things, however, I just mentioned since there's a question. So assume that let me do it using VI only, the scripts and everything. I'll make it using VI. So the thing is, so again, same thing as you do in Nano. VI also you give the name. So assume that I'm having script.sh like this. So it comes like that. And the first thing I have to do. So this is not the edit mode, okay? When it starts, and assume that you want to quit. So you have to do this shift and so it, and colon. That basically gives you the colon, and then you do Q. The Q is for quitting, basic thing, and you press enter, so it quits. That is one. So when you start, it says new. That's okay. When you press I, it's already in the command mode. So when you press I, it goes to the insert mode, and therefore it shows insert. When you press escape, you come out of whatever mode you are in. So when I press I, I'm in the insert mode. So of course, when I'm going to write something, it is going to be written on the screen, of course. So when I want to exit from here, then I have to escape. So if I escape, I'm exit. I'm no longer in the insert mode. So if I write something, nothing will come up. But there's one thing, if you write something, you're not in the insert mode, and then you just press any key, it automatically goes in the insert mode in this case, right? And so on. So you can keep writing. If you want to come out of the insert mode, then you press escape. Once you press escape, so assume that I go inside the insert mode, write something, and then I am willing to quit. So then I can either press escape first and then do colon W. So this is for saving, writing whatever you have, you want to write it. So if you just do W, then it will just write it. And maybe it'll ask for the name of the file also. In this case, we already given that script.sh. So it says one line, 6 bytes written, meaning it is saved now. I can again go to the insert mode and then maybe change it to something else and so on, and then again press colon. So if you press colon, since you are insert mode here, right? So even the colon will come here. So if you want to go back to the command mode, you have to press escape. Once you escape, then you have to go do colon. Now it asks for the command. Now you can say quit. If you do quit, then it will quit, of course, with the older content being there because it is not saved. Or you can do WQ. If you do WQ, then it will write first and then quit. So save and exit, something like that.
No, we want to. I want to understand how do you do the search?
Okay, so search, I had to come up with an example file.
So this
Okay,
is what I was asking. No, the big this what is that file called? The log. What?
log file. You want to search in that, right?
Auth log.
Okay, okay. Okay, one more thing. So when you don't save it and you try to quit, it'll prevent you from quitting. Because I've just changed something and it is not saved. Okay. So it says no write since last change. But if I want to force quit without saving, as in don't save and just quit, I have to add a exclamation there, force quit. Or if you do WQ, that's also fine. But I can do like this and then it exits. Okay. And regarding the searching part, let me in fact get the file. Okay. Just give me one moment. I'll get the file and have it ready. Okay. Mm. Okay, so I'm going to use the same one maybe. That was 5.7 itself, right? So I go to PPA 5.7 because it has that log input, right? Okay, I've taken in the previous one, no? Wherein I already copied, I'll just use that. Okay, so here we have it, right? So I'll open it first of all, right? So my auth, this opens up, right? So what happens is if you press I, then you go to insert mode and something will be, you have to write it and so on. So if you want to search for it, then you what you do is you have to just you know give the search term, right? So like this. Let's say I want to search for guest, right? So that's what happens. So you have to give a forward slash and then give the search term. Okay, and you press enter. If you press N, then so you have to press for give forward slash, give the term or the pattern. This is a pattern, by the way, right? So it could be like a regular expression also. And then I press enter. So it has taken that as the search term. Now I'm pressing N. When I press N, it is going to all the next occurrences. So the first occurrence it was here, right? When I'm pressing N, it is just going to the next occurrence and so on and so forth. So I keep pressing this. You know, this is N. And I think if you do Shift N, which is capital N basically, so it search backwards. So this is going back. Is that okay? This is what you do for searching. And I can also show one thing if possible. Yeah, this is for searching. Then again, I want to change. So I press escape and then again give forward slash and give the pattern. And it could be a pattern also. So let us try with that one. So we can say su dot star, it is highlighting everything. And then I say session opened for dot star by student. So this selects this is going to select it and then uh, and so on. So I set it like that. Then I press N, it'll keep going there. So now it says search hit bottom, continuing at top, meaning that is the end of the file, and then you have to start from. When you press N again, it'll go to the first occurrence again. So it cycles like this. So that's how you search. And if you want to replace, for replacing, maybe I'll show something easier than this because this is having lots of things. So okay, test. So assume that I go to the insert mode, I write hello. Right now, mm, uh, what else? Maybe example. Okay. So assume that I want to replace now. So I can do this. I can say S. I have to go to command mode first. S. Oops. To do like this, right? Okay. So this is for substitute. I'm not replacing. This is similar to set. Okay. Now I say that hello. I want to replace with world, for example. Right. So that suffices. So I press enter, now it is replaced. So this is find and replace because you're substituting. But if you do it like this directly with the colon, it'll do it in the current line. Okay, so yeah, there's only one more thing that I wanted to show. So if I exit from here, then I go back to the insert mode. So assume that there is hello here and here also. Okay, I'm currently here, right, in the first line. So when I'm going to do this again, escape first so that I go to the command mode, then I give this S substitute hello with, let's say, world, and then I press enter, so it'll just replace this one, right? But if you want to replace it throughout the entire file, then you have to use percentage for that. Percentage is what you use. So you have to escape again and percentage percentages, right? And you say hello. In this case, there are only one hello, right? So maybe I'll just replace it again. Maybe I'll put a new one. Hello. Okay. Now I am going to do this. So go to the command mode, percentages. Now I say hello. For all occurrences, I want to replace it with world maybe. Right. I do this and then it replaces for all occurrences. So this is replace all. Is that okay? These are the things that are basically for finding and replacing. And if you want, again, this is all regular expression patterns, everything you can give, whatever is possible. and then I can write and quit like this. I need not do force quits. I can just do WQ. It'll take it and quit it like that. Is that okay?
And the select delete, there is one more item because we write something and then we want to delete. I'm trying to use only
Uh-huh.
backspace nowadays. How to select, because there will be a, you have written 2 3 lines of code and you want to delete, or
Yeah, yeah. So
only one line, complete line you want to delete, like select.
exactly, exactly. So if you do, there's a command for that. I think capital D is it? No, D. Okay, okay. So whatever line you are in. So I'm in example. Let's say. So okay. Maybe a better example would be like this. I'll put it like this. Line one, line two, line three, line four, and line five. Okay. So let's say I have 5 lines now. Whichever line I am in, because I can move like this. The current line I am at line 3, right? And I know I'll tell you why that is important. Now I do command, go to command mode and say D, small d. So it will delete the current line. Okay, now you can think about it, right? You are using find, and if you press N, it will go to the next occurrence and so on, right? It will keep on doing like this. So then you can go to individual matches wherever it matches, and that line you can remove by using D. Is that okay? So that's what you do.
Can you please come again? We just need to.
We just need to, like, for example, if you're searching for something, right? Then you just give that, right? That term. And so I search for line, let's say, like this. Okay. So this is it, right? And if I press enter, then I can keep pressing N, right? So it's just cycling through it. Now, if I want to delete a specific line, then I can just give D. So line 4, and I can give D and press enter. So it removes that. Okay, it is removing both lines for some reason. Uh, so it is switching like that. Like I have line 2, then I go to the command one, give D, and delete that. So basically, you have to use colon and then say D. So it removes that. If you just give D, I think it will remove.
How to traverse all the places where you have line. You said slash user, sorry, slash line.
Slash line, and then you press enter. So it sets it. The term is set now. Now you press N to go to the next one. Okay.
N. Okay.
N, yes. N, and shift N will search backwards. So you come back if you do that. Okay.
And then delete. Once you are in the line, you just press
Once you are in the line, and then you press colon. So go to command mode and then say delete and
colon
press
D.
enter. So it'll,
Colon D.
it'll remove that. Now it says no lines in buffer because everything is removed. Okay. All right. So
So colon D is delete the current
delete
line.
current line. Yeah, yeah, that is
Yeah,
correct.
that is fine.
And then there are other commands. You can just go to the manual for VI and see all those commands. So this is
So
the mechanism by which you use it.
only these few are enough. You want to,
All right.
because
Yeah, yeah,
there are too many things you want. It is necessary
yeah.
to remember, which is
Right, right. No, find and replace, opening a file, closing a file, saving it, and all is very common, right? So it's good to have that. Okay, I quit it. Now since I have not saved it, it is complaining saying that it's not saved. So I can just say, okay, I can just say Q uh, Q exclamation. So it force quit. Okay, now 5.7 is done, right? Yeah. So we were discussing, I think, practice. We'll go back to that quickly and see. So we still have somewhere around 20 minutes. So we'll try to see that. Practice is there, right? Okay, 5. 5.1 is done. I think this all is done, right? Yeah.
5.4.
5.4, yes, thanks. We were doing that. Uh, this one we have to do. So the question is very easy again. This is just saying that we have a shell variable which is set as log file. Log file equal to then some path is given. Some path is given for the log file. What you have to do is you have to print 2 lines. First line is the file name, the second line is the path of the directory in which log file is located. Okay. So the directory of the file where the log file is there. So daily.log, the directory will be this /home/student78 is the directory where this log file is there, and this part is just the name. So there is a command actually for that, dir. Is it dir name? Yeah, so if you give something, let's say, uh, if you have something like this, does it abc.txt? Yeah, so dir name, this command, when you give a path to a file, it will remove the file name and just give you the directory name. Yeah, that is the usage of this dir name command. So that is the first part of it. First part of what the problem asks us to do. And the other one is the file name, right? So for the file name, um, okay, for
We
the
can
file
just
name,
we can just split it with a slash and then
with a
take the last.
slash and get the last one, right? But then what I'm concerned about is that there could be multiple directories and so on and so forth, right? So then how do you know how many slashes are there? You see, like how do you know which is the
Yeah, yeah,
last?
yeah, yeah. Yeah, that case will not come back.
So there'll be something. We'll figure that out. So, so we have the shell variable and so on and so forth. Okay, so we have the log file and it gives us that. Yeah, there's a command for that. Let me check for that. I'm not able to recall it. So um, there is a okay. It's the base name, right? Okay, yeah. Base name is that, right? So you have home student 78. Let's say some file hello.txt. Then base name gives you that. Yeah. So base name is whatever is at the end. It will give you that. Dir name will give you the directory up until the last uh, portion. Okay. So base name gives you that, and dir name gives you that. Now, what we have to do is we have to do it for the log file. That's the idea, basically. For this variable, the idea is to use this variable and figure out that. Okay. So that is possible to do. What we will do is we will write that script in script.sh, right? Yeah. Okay. So okay, I have this here. Okay, bin bash. Now what I'm going to do is, so we are assuming that log file variable is there because this path will change. It is not always going to be home student 78 daily.log, right? This is one of the instances, but it could change. Could be any file, right? But that is going to be in the variable called log file. So this is very easy to do. What I'll do is, so first line you have to have the name, right? So I'll say base name of log file because log file is already there. And then I have dir name, which is again log file because it gives both. You just give the path to base name and dir name, it gives both of the requirements are fulfilled like this. Save it and then chmod u plus x script.sh. Then I'm going to evaluate passes. Okay. All right. Anything else? Okay. Yeah. Quite a few questions actually. 5.5 is okay. This is also replacement. Uh, hmm. So you have total cost in the variable. You have to replace this underscore with the comma, right? We were discussing something, right? The translate. We will do that for us, right? So let us have it quickly. We are basically replacing the underscore with comma. That's all. So assume that I have this. This is what we are going to do,
So
right?
what is this question? The shell variable name this contains.
So total cost will be there. It will be defined for you in your script. I mean, it's already there, like similar to log file. We just use it. It is already there. And that is supposed to contain a string in this particular format: xyz abc pqr. Okay, and this xyz abc pqr are 3-digit numbers similar to this, right? It could be anything. It could change, like it'll not always be 198. It could be anything else, but 3-digit. This will be 3-digit, this will be another 3-digit, and this will be another 3 digits. That is what is going to be the format. And the underscore is used in the current format. What you have to do is this script.sh will do what? It will take the value from the variable total cost and replace all underscores with comma. That's what it'll do. Okay. So I think you can use variable substitution for that also, or you can use the tr command to do that. Okay. So let us have it. Script.sh bin bash. Now what I'll do is I'll just just echo maybe for now. So total cost is the name, right? Yeah. Okay, but I have to evaluate, right? Let us have chmod. So it'll fail. Yeah. Okay, it's not showing up the output for us. It's fine. So we assume that it is there. Now I'm going to say that tr. I'll just replace the underscore with comma. That's how tr works, right? Maybe you can try it out on the terminal also. Let me copy. So we'll see if it works. Tr we have seen, right? So assume that this is total cost, particular instance, and okay. What to echo total cost. Okay, and pipe it to tr underscore is replaced with comma. So this is done, right? Uh, so this is the same thing that I have written. Maybe I can just evaluate now. This passes. Okay, and like this you have to continue and continue up until the last one. Is that okay if we do it up until this question, or and the rest of it maybe we can discuss in the other one, other session?
Yeah, better. It's already time.
Yes, sir.
Hmm. Okay. Okay. All right. So this 5.5. In fact, there are six, rather 12 questions. So
We will try and then see
huh,
if you are able.
you can try solving this one, and then the next one we will, you know, go through the remaining ones quickly. Okay.
Can
This
anyone please send me the last solution?
Last solve the instructor session is there on the channel.
No,
Krishna,
no,
is
no,
that
no.
fine?
I am talking about the last solution
Oh,
for this
this one is
question.
it? Okay. 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 Let me share it. 5.4 or 5.5?
5 to 5.
5.5. Okay. Yeah. So this is the final solution for it. Script.sh. Yeah, this one. Let me just copy this. TR, you know, right? The translate command.
Yes.
Hmm. Okay. So yeah. All right. Any questions before we close, or anything else that you'd like to discuss?
Thanks, Safna.
Thank
Okay.
you, sir.
Thank you so much.
All right. Thanks.
Thank you,
Thank you
sir.
so much. Bye.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks. Thanks a lot.